What's up, everybody? I'm Scott,
I'm Jason.
and you're listening to Liquid Carnage. How are you, my friend?
Oh man, I'm surviving. I'm surviving a birthday party for you this last weekend that was legend. Wait for it, dairy.
Yes, thank you. It means the world that you and Norrin would come up and celebrate with Janice and myself on such a great special occasion. It meant the world to me, and I truly can't thank you guys enough.
Well, you don't take enough credit. There was a lot of people there. There was probably 40 people there, so it wasn't like just some haha, let's have a little. There was a lot of people there.
Yeah, especially all the times considered. Um, there was quite a few, and for anyone concerned about the COVID, it was in a very large area, so we were more than compliant. I can promise you that.
Well, and I have to think that 85 to 95% of those people will have either been vaccinated or have already gotten it. So I think that the spreader risk was very, very minimal.
It was minimal, and I looked at everybody that was there, and you're absolutely right. I think there's only a few handfuls of people, and at this point, the game walking into it.
Yeah,
You,
I think also that there was those three people that were making out with each other simultaneously that I got a little nervous with, but other than that,
yeah, that's fine. I mean, that was part of the entertainment. I think they signed the waiver.
well, and I think they had enough liquor in them that it probably killed any germs, you know.
Well,
That
I swear, I thought it was hand sanitizer they were pumping in their mouths before they started making out. I don't
it
know.
very well could have been. You know what? That's probably what it was.
So that's why I'm not too worried about it. No,
Good.
it was a very good time. I'm now a member of the 40 Club,
You are
which
now a
you
member of the
inducted
40
me
Club.
you inducted me into it Saturday evening last week.
Yep.
So I expect my membership card and dinner jacket very shortly,
Oh, and the cigar. You need the cigar too.
and the cigar,
Yeah.
So I do plan on coming down there to try those out in Phoenix and see how it feels to be a man in his 40s in North Phoenix for the first time.
Yes. It'll be a different experience. But we do accept. So the good thing about for you and Janice is you only need to be one member of the 40 Club to be invited to the party. So Janice, because she's with you, she's
Mm-hmm.
invited.
No, that's
So
good. So she's already automatically my +1, so that's a good
yes.
sign.
So basically, our entire group of friends, our inner circle, they're all now eligible. You were the last holdout.
Oh well, damn! Talk about being
Yeah.
last to the party.
I know. So now everyone's in. Heather's in. Janice is in. Children are in kind of by association. So
Well, someone's
any
gonna drive us
kids,
home. That's
any
fine.
any kids, yeah, any kids that are now part of the group. I mean, so Janice's daughters are part of the club. So you're in good company now.
I think so. I appreciate that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. But inevitably, the show must go on.
Yes.
So it is a new week. It's a new show for us. And we've been on a lot of COVID topics lately and political topics. And I had this thought pop in my head last week. I thought, son of a bitch, I think this would be fun to talk about because this is right up my alley. And since we are recording on my actual birthday, I told you we're just going to do it because this just sounds fun. So anyone that's listened to the show before knows I love a good conspiracy theory. I very much interested in all things Bigfoot, aliens, Loch Ness monster. I'm not like going to the conventions, but I will watch those documentaries on Discovery Plus all day long because they entertain me.
Okay.
And I got to thinking about it last week as I was watching one of them, and they were out hunting for Bigfoot in Kentucky. And I just got to think, like, what the hell would actually happen if they caught one? Has anyone ever taken the time to think about what would happen if they were to not just catch a Bigfoot, hypothetically, on camera, but catch a real life Bigfoot or stumble onto a Bigfoot nest? I mean, has anybody thought this all the way through as to what happens next?
That is an interesting question, Scott, and I'm glad that you're bringing it up. There's a famous scene in Predator 2 when Danny Glover kills one of the predators, and this epic fight. He has the predator in his hand, and then all of a sudden, 15 predators come out of their camouflage and look like they're going to kill this dude.
Yeah.
And this is exactly the same thing that you just said. There's going to be a group of about 17 Bigfoot, Sasquatch, whatever you want to call them. They're going to come to this guy's little area of respect and safety that he's set up for them, and it's going to get nasty.
Yeah. I mean, has anybody thought this through? Like, what happens? Like, you caught one. These things, I'm using Bigfoot as an example right now because that's what I was watching. on average, we'll say 7-8 feet tall. I'd call a light one maybe 400 to 500 pounds. And if they have the strength proportionate to a chimpanzee in its size, I'm pretty sure it can pull some decent sized trees rooted into the ground straight out of the ground. So, what do you think it's going to do to you? And to take it one step further, what if you catch it when it's in heat?
Oh,
I mean, are you prepared to stop that? I don't think you can.
well, and that leads to a good question, because we're only talking about males, but there are females that are out there too, right?
I would assume so.
Sasquatches have to have females, and to be able to make more.
Yeah, it's just one of those questions that you don't think about, but you should think about. Because obviously they've never caught one live. Otherwise, I think we would have known about it by now, or at least they haven't caught one that they're telling us about. So we don't know how they react. We don't know how they deal with human interaction, and I don't think we want to be ones to find. I don't think you want to be the first one to find out.
Well, what skills do you think are needed to become an expert in Loch Ness Sasquatch? What skills do you think a person needs to become the resident expert to actually get its own show on Discovery, documenting this for us as an audience?
As time goes on and you watch these documentaries, I'm starting to realize that I don't really think you need to have any kind of major background.
Well, you have to have something.
I think you have to have an interest. You have to have funding, and you have to have somebody that's willing to say, you're telling an interesting enough story. We're going to make a TV show out of it and hope that these guys pick it up.
Well, like Delacroix from our paranormal episode.
Chris Melisson?
Chris. Thank you, Chris.
Side note, also, I don't know if I told you, but Chris actually passed away the other week.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, that's a bummer. I don't want to bring this up. Rest in peace, Chris. But Chris was an expert.
Yeah.
Not just I like this, so let's. I mean, he was a genuine expert in the Paranormal Society of New Orleans. So when he spoke, it carried weight to it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I'm watching the Bigfoot or Sasquatch expert, nothing he is saying makes me think that this guy is anything more than just an outdoor hunter type who has now expressed that instead of going after elk or bear, he's going to go after Sasquatch.
Yeah.
So like you said, he doesn't know whether when a Sasquatch is in heat, if he becomes belligerent sexually. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know if they run in packs and then just tear people from limb to limb. He doesn't know any of that.
Yeah. Right.
So it just seems like there's a lot of people out there who are doing these things. They're not experts, or they're trying to use skills that they're experts in for hunting, for example, and trying to merge these two interests together.
Yeah, it seems like it's almost like watching an episode of Nailed It on Netflix. I don't know if you've ever watched Nailed It on Netflix.
Oh, love Nailed It.
Nailed It, for those that don't know, Nailed It is a baking show on Netflix where people who fancy themselves as good bakers or bakery decorators they come and compete on a show where they're given different cakes and different themes to make the cake out of and replicate these cakes. And these people are horrible. And they realize how horrible they are.
Okay, wait a minute. No. I thought that was the show where they had no cooking experience and they were asked to make the cakes. Not that they were like they thought they were good. I mean, I thought that the funniness of the show was because these people did not know anything about cooking, because so many of them they're like they don't even know what a cup, like what how much sugar to put in a cake.
I think it's a combination of the two.
Okay.
Because because you have to submit a video of showing your baking skills, and I don't want to think anybody can be that inept without knowing something.
Yeah, that show is, but that's the same thing where they have a cookie that's supposed to look like Elmo.
Yeah,
and it doesn't look.
Yeah, look, I ran into red frosting, so I just used blue, and I don't know why. Now it looks like it's melting everywhere. Yeah, exactly. It's the same concept. Yeah,
you don't put the frosting on the cookie before you put it in the oven. Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. I think Cryptid hunting is basically the same thing. I mean, you could read all the books you want on all the interactions that people claim to have had and what have you, but it can never duplicate the real thing because you don't know what the real thing actually is.
So what is our fascination? Because Discovery, a
Plus,
lot of those channels have a ton of these shows where it's an expert like a Sasquatch, or these guys that go up to Alaska and try to pan gold out of the rivers, and they have these huge mining contraptions and in a camp where they're trying to get gold. And a lot of the video is not, I mean, I'm sure a lot of the video that they take is probably worthless, right? It's just
I
nothing's
imagine.
going on.
I imagine. I mean, I don't.
So what's our fascination with it? Why did we watch this?
It's funny. I watched a comedy bit about this earlier this year about people love to, because of the quarantine, people love to watch shows about people working. And it's about working jobs they wouldn't normally work, like truck drivers in the Arctic. Yeah, it's random, but people seem to love that. I don't care about crabbing or whatever happens on what's that fishing show on Discovery where they're
Deadliest Catch?
Deadliest Catch. I don't give a shit about that, but people do, and I don't think this is any different. Like they want to see something they wouldn't normally do in their own lives.
Ah, there we go. Okay,
And
yeah.
I think therein lies the crux of the situation. It's these people are interested in something that they would probably never get to do.
And I think each of the people that do these shows add their own interpretation of adding drama or
Yeah,
excitement or
yeah,
stress to the video that they're creating. And so, like the Sasquatch guy.
yeah,
Like he talks about all the, I've got cameras here, and I put a little bit of me here, so when the Sasquatch does come, he'll get a smile. You're on candid camera, and he makes it all kind of funny. And then he says, well, we were there for 7 days and no activity.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, come on,
Or
dude.
my favorite in those, like, man, we set up these trail cams right on this game trail, so we're gonna see something. We will, and inevitably they catch everything but a Sasquatch. But on the last night, the camera gets knocked into a position that it wouldn't normally get knocked at, and there looks like to be some up close fur in the shop. You can't quite make it out what it is. So maybe it's a bug, maybe it's not. We don't know because we'll never know.
Now, I will say this, that the people who believe in the
Mm-hmm.
Sasquatch, I do feel it's how about this? I don't feel like whether it's true or not, it is so important for me to know whether it's true or not. If there's a Sasquatch, great. If there isn't one, okay, that's fine too. But they take it so seriously that you are compelled to watch them fail or succeed in trying to do it, because they are that passionate
Is,
about.
is that the story of the underdog? I mean, is that really the best way to put it? Like, we're hoping that these people, against all odds, will see something that we've been told does not exist.
I think what it is for me is that because there's someone else out there who is trying to prove it and spending the time and resources and money, it means I don't have to. So I'm indifferent to, good. If you want to go look for it, go ahead. I don't have to believe it. And if you prove me wrong, fantastic. I'm wrong and you prove me wrong. Most of the time, I feel like most of the people that believe in these kind of, I don't want to say far-fetched, but these kind of extraordinary
Mm-hmm.
stories, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt me to let them go look for it. And if they prove me wrong, fantastic. If they don't prove me wrong, which is a lot of the time, I didn't waste any time or energy or money to go searching
Yeah,
for it.
it's that's kind of where I'm at with it too. It's I'm curious as to why there's a giant fascination with Bigfoot, and I'd be curious to see if there's any shows like this in Europe, or the crypto culture is considerably different. They don't have legends of Bigfoot, if you will. They actually have the werewolves, um, gnomes, as a matter of fact, too, and leprechauns are also a thing there. So I'm curious as to if they have similar shows like that, about hunting those.
Well, and I think there's a really fine line too, right? Because like UFOs, for example, um, I've seen some of these shows where they have UFO sightings that people record on
Mm-hmm.
their phones, and if that is not a UFO and that's actually a Earth-made whatever, man, there's a lot of things out there that are really sneaky, really scary, right? So, so I could say not a conspiracy theory, but I have a belief system that UFOs exist. But I don't spend my life trying to prove a theory that goes against the norm of what society has determined as there are no other life forms that we know of, and until we discover them,
Yeah,
that's it.
I kind of have to
Right?
agree though too. But a lot of these people also get mixed up in the culture, the legends in different cultures, if you will, like Wendigo in like the Navajo, for example, the Navajo Indian Reservation in Arizona. The legends of the Wendigo run rampant, and those cryptids are very dangerous. But you don't see a lot of people investigating that because the legends are so strong about how dangerous they are. It makes me curious as to why there's not more braver people. I don't know, say that right?
Like, you know what show I would love to see? You know what show I'd love to see a Discovery show where these people that believe the Earth is flat go out to prove that the Earth is flat.
I'd watch the shit out of that.
Would you not? I mean, because obviously, to me, and pardon me for saying this to anyone who believes the Earth is flat, but these people do not believe in science. They don't believe in years of history that show us that the Earth is not flat. So they are going against it, but purely no scientific basis. That's their belief system. I would love for them to prove that, spend a show proving that the Earth is flat by going to the edge of the Earth, looking over the side, and being able to just see straight down.
Yeah, no, I would love to see that too. I think that'd be amazing.
If someone would put a show like that together, I would be game on interested in hearing about this. But see, once again, as long as someone else is searching that, great. But like the people who believe the Earth is flat, you're talking, but you're sounding ridiculous, because I have scientific proof that shows and science evidence that shows that the world cannot be flat. So you go and prove to me that the world is flat, and I will tell you that you're the most amazing person, and I'll believe you forever. But until then,
you know what gets me on those people? It's they're convinced every otother planet is round, but why is Earth flat?
Well, and they're so convinced that the scientists have been lying to us. Like it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. But that would be a documentary I would love to see. I would love to see the person that says, you know what, us flatters, whatever they call the group that does the flatters. Yeah. Flat earthers, they should do a show to prove that the Earth is flat.
I'd love to watch that. I'd love to see Kyrie Irving of the Brooklyn Nets be the star of that, because he's one of the biggest proponents of the flat Earth, and I just think I'm with you. I don't see how you can think that, but everyone, I guess, is entitled to their own beliefs. Much like if it's your belief to go out and be a Bigfoot hunter or a Loch Ness monster hunter, more power to you. And if you get a TV show for it, chances are, if I'm bored on a weekend, I'm gonna watch. But I don't know if I'm gonna be there for the first airing and be ready to watch it. It's not like it's Game of Thrones at its peak or The Walking Dead at its peak. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
I'm with you. Yeah. I guess the same question goes back to the Loch Ness monster. We've spent how many hundreds of years searching for this thing, and what have they got? What they think could be a fin and possibly a picture, but they're not sure it could be driftwood. It's so murky.
Well, and once again, there you go. So let's say that they are able to go out and prove that the Loch Ness monster exists, right? They, I don't know, get it in a net or something, and they grab the Loch Ness monster.
Yes. Yeah.
What next? I mean, what does that do? What does that do to us to say, all of the questions of the world have been answered now because we found.
Oh yeah, and that's my point exactly. It's like, all right, cool. So now we have a big fucking dinosaur. Where are we going to put it? And oh, by the way, we've all seen Jurassic Park. We know what happens here.
Well, or worse, just leave it alone. What are you going to do? Take it and put it in a zoo so people can see the Loch Ness monster? I mean,
I agree.
It doesn't make sense to me. Same with the Sasquatch. So you find out there's a Sasquatch. Okay. So, I believe that there's a five-legged frog out there.
Good for it.
If I find the five-legged frog, then what?
No, I
Okay.
agree. I'm right there with you. I don't think everything belongs in a zoo, and especially if you don't know, what you're really dealing with here. If they'll allow you to study their species from a safe distance, I get it. That's fine. And I have to imagine this is my own logical thinking, and so maybe it's wrong. I'm sure it is. If a Sasquatch is a thing, if Bigfoot is a thing, and we'll call them like primates, they work in packs or families. Uh, if we were to, I don't know, capture one or come upon a group of them, like Jane Goodall with the gorillas, could we study them from a distance? And could we learn something? Or are you going to be someone's dinner?
Oh, believe me, history shows that the human race destroys anything that's unique, special. I mean, we destroy it. We don't
Yeah, it's
protect
true.
it.
We are too dumb
We
for our
destroy
own
it.
good.
So yeah, so I'm sure if they find one Sasquatch, there will be hundreds of thousands of hunters that will go to try to get themselves a Sasquatch pelt
The funny
for
thing
their
is, though,
wood.
it is illegal
I
to
mean,
hunt Sasquatch in most states in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah.
so they have a law. Wow. Okay, so they have the law because anticipation that there might be a Sasquatch, or they have the law to just say, look, we know that people are going to hurt the Sasquatch if they ever find one, so
I
let's
think it's a
put the law on the
combination. I think
books.
once you have enough recorded incidents on public record via police reports, park ranger reports, what have you, you can't ignore it after a while. So you can't ignore it. You don't know how many of them there are. So if, for as dumb as the rules I might sound, it might be easier just to say, hey man, it's illegal to kill one if you come across one. If you see it, just leave it alone, or we might try to have sex with you. So you don't know, so walk away.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that I don't know. I mean, I guess that's good. I just feel like for these people that are so obsessed with the
Mm-hmm.
Sasquatch, why are you obsessed with it? Like, what about the Sasquatch is so obsessive that you have to spend like this guy who's videotaping hours upon hours upon hours in the woods to chase the Sasquatch? What is so? But then again, I shouldn't knock him. I just don't understand it. I don't. I'm not obsessed so much with something like that I spend every waking moment, every weekend searching
Like I said,
for it.
I think it's dumb entertainment, and people will spend time watching random shows about random events, and that's really no different than what this is.
Yeah, yeah, and you're right. I mean, that there. How many TV shows have we had about dramas about people
Mm-hmm.
working in a
Yeah.
hospital?
How many legal?
Now, let's be honest. I think most of us have seen enough shows or been in enough hospitals to know
Yeah.
how a
Well, same
hospital
with
works, right?
police
Um,
police dramas and what have you. I mean,
yes, police, exactly. We've seen it enough. What are we drawn to that we keep watching shows that a lot of times are just retreads of a show that
it's
was
funny.
already out there?
We got home from the Super Bowl last night from watching the Super Bowl. We weren't at the Super Bowl, but I turned on the Equalizer with Queen Latifah.
Oh,
You
okay,
know,
yeah,
the,
there we
the,
go.
the Equalizer was a remake from the '70s movie with Charles Bronson, done by Denzel Washington, and now this is a movie based on a similar person, but it's Queen Latifah who is now the Equalizer, and it is basically it's another cop procedural drama. When I was asked how it was, because I told someone I watched it, I was like, well, if you've seen one, you've seen them all. She solves the case with 5 minutes to go in the show. Everybody goes free, goes home happy. It's one of those, but you can call it almost scene by scene as to what's going to happen.
Flesh me out on this precept, because you can say the same thing about movies. You can say the same thing about songs. You can even say the same thing
Mm-hmm.
about books, right? You said, boy meets girl, boy falls in love with girl, girl finds out that he's, had done something wrong. They break up, and then they realize that, that story has
Yeah,
gone on for so long, and yet we
yeah.
still watch it. We still listen to that song that talks about, the girl or boy that broke our heart, and now we're trying to get through it, and it's painful, and this memory brings back all those feelings I had. Right? We hear many times the same story being told. Why do we get emotionally attached? Is that why we go back to it again and again? Because we're emotionally attached to the
I think
story in
so.
some way.
And I think the hunt, ultimately, the story of Moby Dick is what this is about. I mean, the crux of today's story is about people that are obsessed with something that is a legend that may exist, may not. We don't know, but it's their hunt. They're Captain Ahab. They are the
And they're so obsessed with it that they don't mind. They don't have any. It's a
exactly
singular focus, right? That's all they focus on. And if that even means the death of themselves, like this one guy saying, "Look, if the Sasquatch comes in and he gets angry, I'm
yeah.
I'm in trouble." So he even knows that he's in danger, yet he still is so focused on that there's no other
Yeah, and to
separation.
me, I think that's the allure to people that watch this. It's the quest to make something true that nobody knows for sure if it's true. It's the quest for finding all of that out and saying, "Aha, see, I got my Moby Dick, I got my white whale," and living happily ever after.
Well,
But I think we all know how Moby Dick ended, though, too.
well, yeah, and I mean, I think when Melville wrote the story, he was not talking about this man's obsession, but more of how an obsession can destroy
Exactly.
us. we the Sasquatch guy, while I totally appreciate it, I think what I find just funny about the Sasquatch guy is he goes, "Oh man, we've got all the cameras, we're ready to go. Okay, it's been 7 days and we've had no
Like, okay.
activity."
And
And then sure enough, he leaves for one day to go check in on his kids. He comes back and there's Sasquatch poo and there's
right.
footprints all
A
all
half-eaten
over the
sandwich with a
place.
note from
So
Sasquatch. Yeah, it's like, I was here, you weren't, so better luck next time.
maybe maybe the Sasquatches are so smart they just kind of watch this dude, say, "Hey, we'll wait him out. Just let's wait him out and then
Absolutely, that's
let's
what I
fuck
would
with
do,
him."
given the opportunity. If I could fuck with them in that case, why not? Why not?
Oh gosh, yeah. No, those obsessions though. Uh, as long as you're not
No,
hurting
it's
someone else, I
if
guess.
yeah, you're right. As long as it hurt
Uh,
anybody, as long as you can make money off of it, and more power to you. I'm down with it. Chances are I'm going to watch your
yeah.
show if it's streaming because I enjoy those things. They take my mind off the rest of reality.
And you said it best. There are people that are willing to pay
Yeah,
people who are obsessed. I mean, people who are obsessed with something can get paid, and we reward them. Maybe it's because we say, "Hey, look, what you're doing is really impressive." We, consciously we're saying, "Oh, what a weird person," but subconsciously we're like impressed that you're so focused on that. We'll be willing to watch your show, pay you whatever to be as
I agree.
obsessed as you
And
are.
it's the world we live in now. It's a strange world we live in, and this is clearly a reason why. But
Yeah, I was watching real quick. I was watching a Frontline PBS Frontline documentary, and they were talking about the world of likes, where basically young kids have discovered the power of using the social media to obtain likes, and those likes turn into advertising and marketing
mhm.
and money for them, right? But they started focusing on people who are in the sports fans world, where they are the ones that dress so outlandishly in their team colors, or they have an outfit or whatever, that the teams have recognized them and have given them tickets to the games and gives them a little part-time job. So sometimes obsessions will
Yeah,
get you through this world.
that's it. And if you love what you do, you're never actually working. You know, that's it.
That's true
So
too.
as we wrap
That's
up this
right, baby.
show, do you have a favorite cryptid show that you like to watch? Or what would you do if you went out hunting Sasquatch and you actually saw one? We want to know what your reaction would be. Hit us up on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, all at Liquid Carnage. If you want to give Tom some Sasquatch hunting tips, because spring is coming in Colorado, he'd love to hear them. Hit him up on Instagram or Twitter, all at Liquid_EP.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
Thank
I
you.
hope you have a happy birthday. Obviously, we release on Thursday, but it is Monday, and today is your actual birthday. So happy birthday! What a great topic. I'm really glad that you brought it up, and I look forward to continuing on the saga
All right,
of
my
Liquid
friend.
Courage,
I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the same.
All right. Well, hey, everyone. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show. That was Scott. I am Jason. And as always, if you never know quite what to say, just have yourself some liquid courage.